Hey everyone, welcome back to Crime on the Record. If you are listening on our podcast, it has been a while. It's typically hard for us to get these episodes out when we are also streaming trials because we sit on the computer all day long with the trial up. So it's kind of hard to have time to do anything else. So, what we're trying to do is since Jason streams the trials, I am going to try to take over management of the podcast episodes because, that will allow for him not to have to be there for every episode and not have to leave the streaming of the live trials, but also that gives me the ability to do those in between clients. So, if you have listened to us before, we are so glad to have you back. If not, make sure you subscribe and like, the episode. And, by subscribing, it'll show you when the episode comes out. So, as we're getting into this new system, if we are to run late or early or, not have the dates exactly mapped out, as long as you're subscribed, it will tell you when an episode is uploaded. So, today we're going to talk about the mysterious case of Noah Presgrove, a 19-year-old whose life was tragically cut short after a seemingly ordinary house party, which is so sad. 19-year-old going to a party, you'd never think anything would end up happening. On a September night in Oklahoma, 19-year-old Noah again attended a house party. His friends said he was laughing, dancing, enjoying himself. However, when the party ended, he had vanished without a trace. So let's start with some background information on Noah. His middle name is Alexander. So Noah Alexander Presgrove was born on May 14th, 2004 in Duncan, Oklahoma, rather. We actually share a birthday. I was born on May 14th as well. A little bit earlier than 2004, but, you know, uh, not too much earlier, not too much, but we do share a birthday. So his father is Victor Presgrove. His mom is Casey Elliott. You'll notice their last names are different. They are not married. I don't know if they were married, but either way, if they were, they've since divorced. He has step parents and step siblings. And according to his obituary, there were several. I believe it was mentioned he had 8 siblings altogether. So must have been a pretty full house at one time. He ran track and cross country and played football and participated in wrestling. The family spent summers with their grandmother, tubing and water skiing, and Noah has been described as outgoing and friendly. His brother made a comment that he was a jokester, but he was really quick to add that it was never at anyone else's expense. He said that Noah was a really nice guy, just really funny and outgoing and constantly, in the middle of stuff. So let's go to Saturday, September 2nd. Noah attends the party of a female friend, Avery Jo Combs. She was turning 22. And he goes to the party and then he returns to his grandmother's house the following day. Now, he had previously become emancipated. I'm not sure of what the circumstances were that led to that. And I don't really want to speculate because, we try to go on facts. And if something is not a fact, we will let you know that it's just an opinion or something we've heard and let you know where the source is from. I haven't really heard too much about why he wanted to become emancipated, so I don't feel comfortable in giving any kind of reason or suggestion. But at any rate, he was emancipated and had decided to live independently from his parents with his grandmother. So he had been residing with her. The party was said to have been advertised openly on Snapchat, and they expected a ton of people. If you put out there on Snapchat that you're having a party and you put the address, you can bet there's going to be a lot of damn people showing up. So initially, he drove his car to the party, but they said he had an oil leak. So um, they were kind of worried he wasn't going to be able to come back. But despite the car issue, he did return to the party on Sunday. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, what the hell do you mean he returned to the party? Like, was he at a party or wasn't he? How is this 2 different days? Well, turns out this was like a 4-day party, I think. It was 3 or 4 days. I'm pretty sure 4. Some articles I've read have said 3, but at any rate, this was a party that was ongoing for several days. I feel like I missed out on this stuff as a teenager or a young adult because in my 20s, we were not having like 4-day parties. We would go to a party and then you get up the next day and recuperate. So I don't know how in the hell these kids were partying for 4 days in a row, but I feel like I might have died if I tried to do that. I mean, I've never been a huge drinker, but good Lord, 4 days in a row? But, and they did say there was a lot of drinking going on at the party, to the point that, it said that he was involved in an ATV rollover earlier in the night, before he disappeared. And I would imagine that probably had a lot to do with the drinking. I mean, I don't think it's really safe to mix drinking and driving of any vehicle. Um, his best friend's name is Jack. Now, Jack owned the Polaris Ranger side by side that was in the wreck. And it was said to have happened after he went to bed at 1:50. So that's kinda how we have a day, I mean, a time of day. So this is a quote from directly from Jack. He says, quote, "I took my keys out of the SXS, and apparently Noah came in my room and grabbed them while I was asleep. A bunch of people went and drove the Ranger and wrecked it." So this was in an interview with, dailymail.com that Jack had done. So again, it's a bunch of people. I mean, it wasn't like, Noah went and got on this thing and went out by himself. It sounds like, you got a bunch of drunk, young 20 something year olds, and they decide in their drunken stupor that they're going to take this ATV out and party. And nope, all they did was manage to roll it over. Um, it His friends have been quoted as saying Noah was, quote, "still alive following the incident." I don't really like the way that that's written. I mean, still alive? I just kind of feel like, why did you need to add still alive? Of course he was still alive unless he was majorly hurt and killed. Like, I don't know. The turn of phrase just sounded a little odd to me. I would have thought they would have said, he was fine or he was a little hurt, but he was okay, whatever. But to be quoted as saying he was still alive following the incident, I don't know. That's not how I would say it, but I will say he does end up deceased. So it may just be a turn of phrase. Well, he was still alive after the ATV. So I don't know what happened, but it wasn't that, may have been kind of what was said. So it's here nor there, but just something that I kind of thought was a little weirdly stated. So he has the ATV incident and everybody's okay by all accounts. He goes back to the party and it is said that he got into an argument with his girlfriend. Don't know what the argument was about. I mean, to be honest, we don't know 100% that they got into an argument. It's been said, but who knows? You know, um, she didn't live with him by anybody's account. So I imagine they very well may have gotten into an argument. There are some accounts suggesting that he became involved in a disagreement with his friend Jack as well. And a lot of people say that that was stemming from a conversation with Jack's girlfriend, Carter Combs. Now, just as a side note, Carter is Avery's sister. And if you remember, Avery is the birthday girl. So apparently they're saying that, Noah was standing outside talking to Carter, and Jack came up and got super pissed off, thinking that he was flirting with her or talking to her inappropriately. Now, when asked about it, Jack said, quote, "We argued about girls for a second, then ended up holding each other, crying, telling each other how much we meant to one another," end quote. I don't know. That's either sketchy or they were shit-faced. I mean, for this guy to say that we argued for a couple minutes about girls, but, then we just kinda cried and talked about how much we loved each other. I don't know, that sounds like some seriously drunk conversation right there. So which it probably is how it went down. I mean, you know how you are when you drink. I mean, maybe not all of you. Some people are mean drunks, but, a lot of us just got get kinda sappy and emotional, so I could see, having that, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I said that to you. It's fine, dude. It's fine, bro. I know you weren't talking to my girlfriend, We love each other. We're too good of friends to fight about this." So, I imagine that it sounds believable. I'm pretty sure that, I could see that being exactly how it went down. It was also said that Noah got into an argument with a 16-year-old teen that was at the party. Don't know who it is, but that person accused Noah of hiding his phone. I don't know. I mean, all I can say is that it had all I can account this to is the drinking again. Um, I don't know why you would think that he took your phone. They said that the phone was found underneath of someone else who was sleeping on a couch later. And so, it was realized, oh, he didn't have my phone. Now, why this person thought Noah took his phone, I don't know. I mean, considering the phone was laying up under a person passed out on the couch, I don't know why he thought Noah took it. Uh, the people there said that the teen, quote, fish hooked Noah and Noah bit his finger. I don't know what is it. So the fish hook, I think, where someone puts their finger in your mouth and kind of curls their finger, like a fish hook. I don't know why you would do that either. That sounds, I don't know, 20-year-old guys. I don't know. You know, I mean, guys are, I don't know, 20-year-old guys are something else. So I guess all that drinking and crying with Jack, maybe he just, got mouthy with this guy and this teen decided to fish hook him. I don't know what to say about that. I can't imagine that ever being my response to someone to stick my finger in their mouth. But at any rate, they said Noah bit him. So um, Jack is also quoted as saying he was super dirty and super drunk, so a couple of girls helped him in the shower. When he got out of the shower, he wanted to sleep in one of the girls' beds, and she said no. That upset him, and he walked off. He left the party, and apparently never seen alive again. So what they're saying is that he goes in there and he's tired and he's wanting to lay down in this bed, but it's this girl's bed and she doesn't want him laying in the bed with her. So she gets pissed up and tells him no, he can lay on the floor or go somewhere else. And, you know, uh, the way Jack explains it, he didn't really care for that. And he got pissed off and decided to hell with y'all and left. Who knows? I think, he'd said that he was dirty and super drunk. So the girls helped him in the shower. I wonder also if this might have been for another reason. There are videos and pictures of him earlier in the night where some girls were riding on him with what looks to be a Sharpie. Why they're riding on him? Hell if I know. Who knows? I don't know. Um, eh, who knows? I mean, you remember being in your 20s and getting drunk at a party? Do you remember why you did half the stuff you did? Because I don't. So who the hell knows? But at any rate, since he was so dirty and so drunk, these girls, I guess, decided they needed to bathe him. And so they put him in the shower. And I imagine they were probably trying to scrub off all the crap they had written on him. Who knows? I do have some pictures. Now, if you're listening on the podcast, obviously you're not going to be able to see those from here. So you will have to go to the website, but once you're on the website, you will be able to see everything that we discuss here. I will make sure and upload those to the website. And again, we have a new website. I say again, but I don't know if I've told you guys that. We do have a new website. It is crimeontherecord.com. It used to just be cotrpod.com. Because we had two podcasts and they both had the letters of COTR. In addition to Crime on the Record, we had Completely Off the Rails. But Completely Off the Rails kind of went completely off the rails, and we didn't have time for that with all the true crime stuff. So when we had to make a choice of the two, we decided to go with crime because it's really important to us to be able to get these stories out. So again, the website now is crimeontherecord.com, and I will make sure to upload the pictures on there. And you'll be able to see that, the pictures on there show that I think, let me hold on. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to make a liar of myself. So let me look. Yes, there's one picture where you can see this girl has written Avery Joe. So I'm guessing the girl standing next to him is Avery, but you can't really see her face. You can see in her profile, you can see like her eye and her nose and part of her lip. And it looks like she has a hat on. That's really all you can tell. So I don't know what Avery looks like, but even if I did, I couldn't tell you if this was her. But it looks like she either just wrote Avery Joe or she's writing under that. So it may or may not be her. There's another person on the left of him that is writing on his, and they're writing on his bottom, right on his butt. She's writing something, but you can't tell who it is. Now, for those on here with us on YouTube, I was going to share my screen so you could see the pictures here, but for some reason, it is not letting me share it. Let's see if I can figure out what in the world's going on and why it won't let me share this real quick. Let's see. Well, nope. It looks like, for whatever reason, I guess because I had to reset some stuff up, it went back to the factory settings on my preferences on my MacBook, and so it's not going to let me. I'll have that fixed for the next time or the next time I do an episode on here so that I can share my screen with you if you're on YouTube. But for now, anyone listening to us on the podcast or watching the episode on YouTube, just go to the website if you would like to see any of the pictures, and I will make sure and get them uploaded there. So he leaves the party. We don't know exactly what time, but sometime, as Jack says, after like 1:50 or so, he wrecks this ATV. So it had to be after even that. So we're thinking at least close to around 3 or so. Now, around dawn, his body is discovered on a desolate highway a mile from the party. So only a mile away. So he's not that far away. And if he left at, well, I don't know. Even if he left at 3, I mean, I guess he could have died right after that, so it wouldn't really matter that he wasn't found until dawn. So I don't know that that really tells us anything. I just found it odd that it was only a mile from the party. So, but I mean, I guess if he was out walking and something happened to him, it would probably be shortly after leaving the party if it was something to do with someone there. So maybe his only being a mile away kind of does lend credence to it being someone there that possibly caused his death. Now, like I said before, this is the mysterious death of Noah Presgrove. And the reason it is so mysterious is because of the circumstances that were surrounding his being found. Now, you're thinking, we're all probably thinking, if you find this 20-year-old a mile away from this party, he's had these girls writing on him and all. So he probably had his shirt off and maybe some other pieces of clothing off and underwear and everything, considering they were riding on his butt. But they did say that they put him in the shower and helped him shower. So you would imagine that he got dressed, right? Well, when they find him on this highway, the only thing he is wearing is a pair of shoes. And I say a pair, but it's not actually a pair because it's not two of the same shoes. He has an Adidas on his left foot and a Hey Dude shoe on his right foot. And that's it. So he doesn't even have a pair of shoes. He has 2 different style of shoes, and that's it. No underwear, no shorts, no shirt, no pants, no nothing else, which I found very odd. I mean, if he takes off walking and he got pissed off at this girl. Say he wanted to sleep in one of the beds. She says no because he's drunk. He just gets pissy and it's like, to hell with this, I'm out. Now, maybe he grabbed whatever the hell shoes he could find and took off because he's pissed. But why did he get undressed? That's odd as hell to me. It just makes no sense. And we know he didn't leave the house naked because of one of the other things they found. They did find a pair of shorts close to him. However, it's been described as a pair of folded shorts. So, it sounds a little odd to me that the shorts would be folded sitting next to him, but it's been speculated that maybe one of the officers or one of the people first on scene maybe picked the shorts up from wherever they were originally found and folded them and set them over there so that the police would know, hey, we found his shorts, or something similar. So maybe it's something as simple as that, but it seemed odd to me. But again, why were his shorts there and not on his body? Also, in the shoes, the Adidas and the Hey Dude, they have stated in his autopsy report that there were grass and debris clumped in the shoelaces of these shoes. So how did he get there? Who or what was responsible? I mean, this is wild to me. You know, I can't even imagine how horrified his parents and grandmother are to know that, your 20-year-old son or grandson has gone out to this party and he's partying for several days with these people, but eventually he's coming home, right? And then for him to just be found in the middle of the road, but not even just on the road. I say middle of the road. I don't know for a fact it was the middle, so I should probably, it's just a turn of phrase, but I shouldn't say it like that. But to be found in the road with only shoes on your feet, I can't imagine how confused they are. Now, Jack has said that after Noah left, his friends did look for him, but they couldn't find him and they didn't think he was in any danger. They said it was normal for him to wander off, so it didn't cross anybody's mind that he wouldn't come back. Everybody's thinking, he got pissy and he walked off, but he'll be back. Unfortunately, instead, his body is found battered and bruised by a passing truck driver around 5:30. So we said around dawn, but they said right at 5:30 a.m. So I don't know what time dawn is there. I imagine since they're writing it as dawn that it is around that time. But at any rate, it was around 5:30. Now, in addition to the other weird stuff we've already said, there was a clump of hair in the highway lane, and a chunk of hair was on his right butt cheek, quote, without blood or tissue, end quote. How that happens, I don't know. I mean, what? How do you have a chunk of your hair on your ass? It just is wild. And they say that there was only a solitary spot of blood on the scene. Now, I think some people have thought maybe, that was him falling out of some kind of vehicle and hitting his head. And maybe that initial hit to his head would have caused that blood. And then, that was only blood on scene. But to have a freaking an entire scene there with with someone with no clothes on, that doesn't just sound like he fell out of a vehicle to me. And also, who the hell's vehicle did he fall out of? By all accounts, nobody knows where the hell he went. Nobody knows of anything, but he got pissed and walked out. So, by all accounts, he should have been on foot, right? So, how the hell did he fall out of a vehicle? So, I don't know that theory holds water. Now, there were, quote, 3 pieces of white metal chain and part of a tooth, end quote, several feet from his body. Now, a lot of reports will just say that part of a tooth, but I believe this came from the autopsy report, but I was just reading that they said teeth were strewn across the highway, some laying as far as a dozen feet from him. So where all his teeth were knocked out at and managed to go all over the highway. I don't know. To me, that sounds more like someone hitting him, but again, doesn't account for why he's butt ass naked. On the right side, or sorry, the side of his right thigh, there was a drawing in black ink of a stick figure. I don't really know that that has anything to do with anything. I mean, we know that earlier in the night, these girls are writing on him in marker, so I imagine that that is something they drew. I know, it has been mentioned that the stick figure was still on him by some people because they want to know, well, why did they leave the stick figure? If they put him in the shower and scrubbed him free of all the other writing, why did they leave the stick figure person on there? It was on his thigh. They would have seen it. Why didn't they scrub that off? And so a lot of people are speculating that um, they didn't really care about him having writing on him or having ink on him so much as they cared about what it said. And so people wanted to scrub the names off of his body so that they wouldn't be, you know, seen as a possible suspect. Now, again, that is speculation, so who knows? But it is, I mean, yeah, it is kind of weird that the stick figure would still be there, but all the writing's gone. Um, Initially, it was thought he might have been hit by a car, but the medical examiner's report painted a far more gruesome picture. The medical examiner has been quoted as saying that he died of, quote, multiple blunt force injuries to the head, neck, torso, and extremities, causing internal bleeding. On the autopsy, it says he had multiple brain lacerations, skull fractures splitting the middle base of skull into two parts, multiple rib fractures, broken ribs, a molar tooth had broken in half, and he had also sustained a laceration on the left cervix of the tongue, along with four cervical neck fractures. And his body showed markings akin to road rash on his left shoulder and hip. Now, these injuries are extensive and they kind of suggest a very violent end. Again, it was originally thought it could have been a car that hit him while he was walking, but they didn't find any debris from a car or any vehicle at the scene. And there was no damage to his lower body, which we typically see in people that get hit by cars. I mean, think about where a car's bumper is at. It's not it's not at your chest level. I mean, not unless they got a super jacked up ass car. Most of the time you'll see people with injuries to their shins if they're hit by a car. But there was no damage to any part of his lower body per the ME. So they kind of had more questions than answers at this point, and they had to mark the manner of death as undetermined because they don't have any idea how he died. I mean, it's kind of hard to say, and I get this. It's kind of hard to say without injuries to the lower body that he got hit by a car. How are you making that stance? Um, I think Jack has spoken out about him seeing Noah's injuries. He told the Daily Mail, quote, "Bro, everyone that saw Noah at the viewing, including me, saw his face was beat up bad. I know what a beat up face looks like. Definitely not just me saying that. Everyone that saw him said that. Looks like he got beat up by five dudes." End quote. Other people saw his body say that did see his body said that it looked like his nose and cheek were broken. And, you know, a lot of people are up in arms about this fight he had with Jack and Jack, getting mad about him talking to his girlfriend. And so, there's been a lot of speculation that Jack did something to him. But it seems kind of odd to me that Jack would be so vocal about the injuries he had. Because it sounds like Jack's trying to say, it wasn't no car wreck. Like, this dude looked like somebody beat the hell out of him. And why would Jack say that if he had to worry about he himself being a suspect? So I don't know. Um, Noah's grandmother said that she's tried asking his friends for answers. She said, quote, "I've talked to a few myself only the closest ones that I feel like I could, but not really getting nothing out of them. I mean, one of them, I've gotten a couple of stories, 2 different stories out of his mouth, and another one, I've gotten 3 different stories out of his mouth, so you know which story's true. She added, quote, "I just pray to God Jack, Noah's best friend, has nothing to do with it. You know, in my heart, I just pray to God Jack has nothing to do with it. You know, I mean, because I love Jack." Oh, that is just I can't even. Wow. I just can't even imagine, being family and not only having to deal with the loss, but having to wonder what led to it, you know? She even stated, quote, "It's, hard to believe that you can have friends like that and they all just stabbing you in the back," end quote. So, she's really torn up about this. And it seems family is very concerned about the fact that this may have been more than just a simple accident. It was said that people were, let me see, who is this real quick? Sorry, I saw a name on here and I'm like, well, who's that? So, Caleb, I believe Caleb is Jack's dad. So, Jack's the best friend, Caleb's his dad, and a lot of people are saying that Caleb went to the scene and had picked up one of Noah's teeth. Um, one story was that this happened and Caleb said, "Oh, no, no, so sorry. I saw it. I didn't know what it was. I picked it up and then was like, oh my God, it's a tooth,' and put it back." Um, who knows? Caleb denies that that happened at all. He's like, "I don't know what y'all are talking about." I tend to think it probably was made up. I mean, who the hell's walking around with teeth? I don't know. It just seems weird. Like, why would he pick up one of his teeth? Why would he do that at all? It doesn't make a lot of sense. He said, quote, "The tooth that was on the road was not moved that I see. I watched a police officer circle it with white chalk. I pointed out a tooth to the police. I would not have picked that up ever." And I mean, I tend to think he's probably telling the truth. Maybe not, but again, why the hell would you be just picking up teeth? Um, the mother of Avery, Stevie, has spoken about the party and said that there was cleanup at the party later that day. And, a lot of people got up in arms about that. Like, I can't believe y'all would just be cleaning, and not worrying about this poor boy that just was found dead. But I get what she's saying. She said, everybody was so distraught that it was just us trying to stay busy, trying to keep busy so we wouldn't break down. And so people just started cleaning up. Now, the downside of that is that it has been said that she mentioned there was a strong smell of bleach at the home when she was there and started cleaning. Again, I think that could very well be a rumor, but we don't know. It was said that in some of the videos, I didn't see one with it, but it was said that in some of the pictures and videos that the night before when they were all so drunk that they were giving each other dares to do and that they were playing with firearms. And so Caleb said that he removed the guns from the house and took them to his house. And then later he got them to their owners, but that he took all the guns out of the house because of that. Um, Noah's family said that the police told them there was no evidence linking him to the party house and no evidence of a crime happening at the house, so they couldn't get a search warrant. Now, we know this had to have been before any real talk came out because we know he was at the party. So we know he was linked to the party. But I guess if there's no evidence of a crime there, how do you get a search warrant? But at the same time, without a search warrant, how the hell do you know a crime wasn't committed there? So, um, in April of this year, Jack sold the ATV to buy a boat. Some people find that sketchy. I do not. I mean, by all accounts, even if he rolled the thing, he was still okay after it was over. So, what does the ATV have to do with anything? Jack recently, it has been said, told his friends that he's torn between Noah being hit in the back of the head by a passing truck's mirror or falling or being pushed out of a pickup truck. Now, again, that didn't really account for the clothes situation to me. Um, Now, Noah's friends, talked about these people, friends of friends. So, not people that are well known by this core group, but kind of some of their friends that they called, quote, the Texas boys. Now, Jack said, I'm 50-50 between a semi and the Texas boys. Maybe Noah asked them for a ride or something, but even if something happened with them, it was accidental. So basically, he's saying, we don't really know these guys that great. We just call them the Texas boys, but we don't know too much about them. They're friends of friends. They could have had something to do with it, but I don't think they would have hurt him. So even if it was them, I think it was accidental. Noah's clothing that he wore to the party has never been located, to my knowledge. The ME also came out and had talked about it being unusual to see the broken ribs in his back. They weren't broken in the front. I don't really understand exactly what they mean. I'm thinking a breaks like it breaks through. So, but I guess I don't really. I mean, your rib cage goes all the way around you though. So yeah, I guess you could have ribs in the front and back. I don't know what I'm thinking here. Um, yeah, okay, okay. I see what they're saying. So it wasn't the front ribs that were fractured, it was the back ones. And they found that really odd because they said that usually when they see broken ribs, it's to the front. So it seemed really weird and it would take a lot of trauma to his body to break those back ribs. So it's also been said that his friends started deleting things from their phones after his body was found and started deleting things from social media from that night. I don't think that that's very odd. In a lot of instances, it does tend to be. I mean, I think most of you are following the Karen Reed case. I think the fact that, it's been talked about those people deleting things, we kind of understand how that's a big deal if they did, because why? You know, what are you deleting that doesn't need to be out there? But a bunch of young people who had teenagers at that party, I could see why they would delete stuff because one, they're young and stupid. I mean, most of these people were early 20s, maybe even teenagers. So we were all stupid as hell at that age. But also, when you got teenagers there, that's contributing to the delinquency of minor. And I'm pretty sure none of these people want to go to jail for that. So I could see how a bunch of panicked, young people were like, oh, hell no, I don't want to get involved in this. I don't want them knowing I was there with all them damn teenagers drinking. And then they started deleting stuff. Or, at that young age, maybe they were just scared that, like, oh shit, people are starting to say this might not have been an accident. What if they think we did something to him? I don't want this coming back on me. I didn't have nothing to do with that. So then they delete them. I could easily see that. So here's some possibilities with theories: accidental death or misadventure. Um, Noah may have suffered an accident or what we were calling a misadventure during the night. They could have been the result of a fall, fight, or an ATV accident. The fact that he survived the rollover earlier in the evening raises questions about how he sustained fatal injuries later. But, who knows? Maybe he went back out on the ATV and got hurt and was hurt so bad that they panicked and they moved him out to the road to say, "Oh, it wasn't an ATV or anything on this property. He got hit by a car." Maybe he fell out of a damn truck. Maybe he did ask somebody for a ride and he jumped in the back of the truck and then fell out of it. Maybe it was a fight. We don't know. Some believe foul play was involved. Perhaps he got into an altercation at the party and encountered um, somebody that did not, want to just let it go and things got out of hand, or that maybe he encountered somebody dangerous after he left. I mean, the blunt force trauma does kind of suggest intentional harm to a lot of people, so I could see that. Some believe, again, that he was forcibly pushed from the bed of a moving truck, and that, again, that blood spot is from when he initially fell and hit his head, and that he kind of staggered along the road and then collapsed at the part where his body was later found. Again, to me, I don't understand how he got naked in that. It just doesn't make any sense. Um, some people have said drugs, that maybe, given that he was drinking at the party, drugs could have also been at the party. Maybe he accidentally overdosed or had a bad reaction, and maybe that's how he got injured, and maybe that led to something um, later. But a toxicology report included in the autopsy showed that forensic toxicologist Angelica Harper conducted a panel of drug tests. She tested for amphetamine, methamphetamine, fentanyl, cocaine, opiates, PCP, barbiturates, and benzodiazepines, rather. None of the drugs were detected in his system. Alcohol was detected, but Harper noted that the tests were not designed to detect like oxycodone, methadone, or clonazepam, but that everything that they did test for was negative. So, oxycodone, methadone, I mean, I guess he could have, methadone's kind of a stretch for me, but clonazepam or oxycodone, I mean, I guess he could have taken some. That still doesn't tell us how he has all these injuries to his body. So I mean, that doesn't do anything for me. Some people think that maybe he was disoriented from the ATV accident earlier in the night, that he stumbled onto the highway and maybe got hit. Maybe even, if he was stumbling around and all and wasn't really all there, maybe he took his clothes off. Who the hell knows? And I guess I mean, I don't know. I was going to say, I guess if it were some kind of drug, he might have taken his clothes off, but oxycodone, methadone, or clonazepam, I don't really see any of those making you take your clothes off, so I don't know about that. Some speculate someone at the party knows more than they've revealed, that maybe there was even a cover-up to protect somebody, but I don't know that is the case. I don't really know that I've seen, much about that. Um, a random attack, maybe a stranger, passing motorist attacked him. Um, the remote location of his body on the highway does raise questions about how he got there, but to my knowledge, there weren't any reports of suspicious vehicles or individuals in the area. And really, if he's drunk and he takes off walking, I mean, I know it was a remote location, but he still coulda walked there, it was a mile away. I mean, he coulda just randomly walked a mile and not in any particular direction, and if you're drunk, who the hell knows what you're thinking? So, I don't really know that that location was that crazy. You know, I think a lot of people do think that there was a lot of emotional distress. He had the ATV accident. He was arguing with Jack. Then he argued with this girl. He argued with the teen about a phone. Maybe he was in a lot of emotional distress. Maybe he was completely, just done when he left. So, um, but mental health issues or extreme stress could have contributed to his actions. But again, what actions would he have had that led to that? He didn't beat himself. He didn't do that stuff to himself. So, I don't know. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think. I hate that I don't have more thoughts on this, but I just don't. I mean, like, I don't know. I honestly do not know. I cannot imagine what would have led to those injuries short of some kind of really huge trauma to his body, such as falling out of a truck, being pushed out of one, or just being, somebody just beat the hell out of him. But, all of that sounds so odd to me with the being undressed. The only thing I can think is, you know, He may not have had a shirt on. He hadn't had a shirt on in any of the pictures or videos, so after he took a shower, he may not have put a shirt on, he may have just thrown some shorts back on, and if he took a shower and they said he was very dirty, I doubt he would have put the same clothes back on, because the whole point in him getting in the shower, per these girls, are that he was so dirty, so stands to reason you're gonna put something else on. And if it's not your house, you might be putting on a piece of clothing that someone else has. So maybe he borrowed some shorts or pants from someone else and they were really big on him. So maybe, just maybe, he got hit by something and it did knock his shorts or pants off. We don't know. But I don't know. Short of foul play, I mean, the only other thing I could think is him somehow falling out of a vehicle, because I don't know that anything else really makes sense. I just can't, without any evidence, of anything to his lower body, it's really hard to think that, you know, it would have been a car accident. It's just kinda hard to believe that, he would have been hit by a car and not had any damage to his shins or calves in any way. Even his knees, like I said, we don't necessarily know, um, exactly where the car would have come onto him, like it may have been sitting up a little higher. Maybe the bumper was, um, at his waist or knees or whatever, but there's no damage to any of that. So it is really hard to think, car accident. So, again, I don't know. I'm very interested to hear what you guys think. We will keep up with this case. If any developments come up, I'll jump on and do another episode and let you know that there have been developments. Otherwise, that is it for this episode. I will get the pictures uploaded to our website. Again, that's crimeontherecord.com, so that you can go on there, see what Noah looks like. It's always good to put a face to a name. So when you're kind of thinking it through, you can imagine, what possibly could have happened. You'll see pictures with him and, some of the other people that were at the party. So, again, that is it. Subscribe, like, all the normal things, and we will talk to you again soon.